Life throws challenges at us every single day, whether it's the constant stress of work, personal struggles, or the weight of uncertainty. It often feels like crisis is just around the corner. But what if you could turn every obstacle into an opportunity for growth? What if, instead of being overwhelmed by life's challenges, you could respond with the mental strength and emotional resilience of a Stoic? In today's video, we'll explore 5 powerful Stoic lessons that can help you overcome crisis and build resilience, no matter what life throws your way. From recognizing what you can control to embracing adversity as a path to growth, these lessons are not just theories, they're practical tools you can use to improve your life today. And if you apply them consistently, they'll empower you to face even the toughest situations with clarity, confidence, and inner peace. Are you ready to transform your mindset and take control of your emotional world? Let's dive in. Stoic lesson number 1. Recognize what is in your control. Dichotomy of control. Life is full of events that we cannot control, whether it's the actions of others, global events, or even the unpredictable twists of fate. As much as we might like to manipulate these things, Stoic philosophy teaches us that our true power lies not in controlling the uncontrollable, but in recognizing what is within our control. This is the core of the dichotomy of control, a key Stoic principle that guides us toward emotional clarity and mental resilience. In essence, this Stoic lesson invites us to focus our energy on what we can influence: our thoughts, our actions, and our responses to external circumstances. The beauty of this concept lies in its simplicity. While external events can cause emotional turmoil, we always have the choice of how to respond to them. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, often reflected on this idea in his meditations. He would remind himself that the only thing truly within his power was his own mind, and that focusing on this helped him remain calm and composed during the most chaotic times. This principle invites us to detach from the need to control every external factor. It teaches us to recognize the futility of trying to manipulate outcomes that lie beyond our reach. Think about it. How often do we attempt to control things that are fundamentally uncontrollable? The weather, the reactions of others, the course of a global crisis, or even the past. Yet, no matter how much energy we put into trying to control these things, we ultimately remain powerless over them. Stoicism asks us to take a step back, observe these external forces, and then redirect our focus to the internal, our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Take a moment to think about a situation you faced recently, something that caused you stress, frustration, or anxiety. Perhaps it was a disagreement with a colleague, a difficult task at work, or even a global event that felt beyond your control. Now, consider how much of that situation you could influence. Likely, the only thing you truly had control over was your reaction. By focusing on what you could control, your response, you free yourself from the emotional weight of trying to manipulate the uncontrollable. For example, imagine you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You can't change the traffic or the situation, but you can choose how you respond. You could let frustration and anxiety build up, or you could use this time to practice mindfulness, reflect, or simply accept that the situation is outside of your control. By focusing on your own mental response, you preserve your emotional stability and prevent unnecessary stress. This mindset doesn't mean passivity. It means accepting what you can't change and taking responsibility for your reactions. This lesson does not only apply to minor inconveniences, but to the deeper, more profound challenges we face. Think of personal crises like the loss of a loved one or an illness. These are circumstances that no amount of mental resilience can prevent. But Stoicism teaches us that the true battle lies in how we choose to face these challenges. Rather than drowning in sorrow or resisting the pain of grief, we learn to embrace the emotions we're experiencing, while still maintaining our inner peace. We acknowledge the loss, feel the emotions fully, but don't allow them to dictate our ability to live with clarity and strength. Letting go of the need to control everything around you not only alleviates anxiety, but also strengthens your mental resilience. When you focus on what you can control, you feel empowered, not helpless. You begin to understand that true control lies within your emotional regulation, your actions, and your ability to stay grounded, regardless of the chaos outside. By recognizing what we can't control, we free ourselves from the mental burden of attempting to influence the inevitable. This understanding becomes the foundation for mental strength. It helps us not only tolerate hardship but also approach life with a clear mind, knowing that our inner peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. When we learn to relinquish control over what is not ours to change, we create space for emotional growth and personal development. So, how can you apply this Stoic principle in your own life? Start by identifying situations where you feel frustrated or stressed. Ask yourself, what part of this situation is within my control, and how can I change my response to it? For example, if you're facing a difficult relationship at work, you can't control the behavior of your colleagues, but you can control how you interact with them and how you respond emotionally. The more you practice this, the more resilient and calm you'll become. By recognizing what's in your control, you'll stop wasting emotional energy on things that don't matter and start focusing on what truly contributes to your growth and well-being. This practice of focusing only on what we can control is not a one-time lesson. It is a lifelong journey. The more we apply it, the more we grow in wisdom, self-awareness, and emotional resilience. When faced with a crisis, large or small, we can remember that what we truly control is our response, and it is this response that shapes our destiny. The more we practice this, the easier it becomes to navigate life's challenges with stoic calm and clarity. Stoic lesson number 2: embrace adversity as a path to growth. Adversity is something we all encounter in life. Whether it's a personal crisis, a professional setback, or an emotional challenge, hardship seems inevitable. These moments test our limits, shake our sense of security, and sometimes leave us feeling vulnerable. But what if, instead of viewing adversity as a burden or something to avoid, we saw it as an opportunity to grow, to build character, and to develop the mental resilience we need to navigate life's ups and downs? This is exactly what Stoicism teaches. In the face of difficulty, Stoicism encourages us not to shy away from hardship, but to embrace it as a way to cultivate our virtues. Marcus Aurelius, who faced countless trials during his reign, wars, personal losses, and the everyday stress of leadership, viewed adversity through a lens of growth. He did not see challenges as mere obstacles, but as stepping stones toward becoming a better, more resilient person. In his meditations, he frequently reminds himself that difficulties were not things to be avoided, but opportunities to test his patience, courage, and wisdom. For Marcus, every difficulty was a chance to build his character and strengthen his resolve. This Stoic practice teaches us that adversity, rather than breaking us, can be the very thing that shapes us into more capable and emotionally resilient individuals. Imagine this: you're dealing with a tough situation, perhaps a challenge at work or a personal issue that's weighing heavily on you. The natural instinct might be to resist the difficulty, to wish it away, or to feel defeated. We all have this inner desire to escape pain, discomfort, or frustration. Yet Stoicism asks us to shift our mindset and see the adversity as a tool for growth. What if, instead of feeling like life is unfair, you embrace the challenge, knowing that it is shaping you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself? This is how Stoicism turns adversity into a path to growth, by transforming the way we perceive hardship. One of the most transformative aspects of Stoicism is the ability to reframe challenges. When you embrace adversity, you're not just tolerating it, you're actively using it to grow. The Stoic way isn't about enduring hardship with gritted teeth, it's about recognizing it as an essential part of your journey. Take a moment and think about a difficult experience in your life. Did it make you stronger? Did it teach you valuable lessons you wouldn't have learned otherwise? Often, the struggles we face become the foundation for our personal growth. They teach us what truly matters, whether it's the value of patience, the strength of persistence, or the importance of humility, and give us the strength to face future obstacles with greater mental strength and emotional resilience. For example, let's say you've experienced a failure or setback in a goal you've been working toward. Instead of focusing on the negative aspects of the failure, practice reframing it. How can this failure help me become more resilient? What lessons can I extract from this experience that will serve me in the future? By doing this, you turn every setback into a valuable lesson and an opportunity for personal growth. It's not the hardship itself that defines us, but how we respond to it. If we respond with strength and wisdom, we are transformed by our struggles. Stoicism teaches us that our greatest growth often comes from the most difficult times. The beauty of this Stoic lesson is that it empowers us to see every challenge not as a threat, but as a gift, a chance to develop virtues that will last a lifetime. Every hardship is an opportunity to practice courage, patience, fortitude, and wisdom. The more we embrace adversity with this mindset, the more resilient we become. Each time we face a difficult situation and choose to grow from it, we build the mental resilience that helps us not only survive but thrive through life's toughest moments. We all know that life won't always be smooth, but it's through the rough patches that we cultivate the qualities that make us strong. Life's challenges are a form of training for the mind, body, and soul. As you continue to encounter adversity, think of each experience as a way to refine your character. The Stoic principle teaches us that we don't need to seek out difficulty, but when it comes our way, we have the tools to handle it with grace and strength. So, next time you're faced with a crisis, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this adversity help me grow? Embrace the discomfort and use it as a tool to develop your Stoic mindset. Remember that it's not about avoiding the storm, but about learning to sail through it. By practicing this mindset daily, you'll find that your ability to navigate life's challenges becomes more natural, and you'll approach difficulties with a sense of purpose, knowing that each hardship is an opportunity to build strength, wisdom, and resilience. Stoic lesson number 3. Practice Amor Fati, love of fate. Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges our way, and more often than not, we find ourselves fighting against the course of events. Whether it's dealing with a personal loss, a financial setback, or any other form of adversity, it's easy to feel frustrated or disillusioned when things don't go the way we hoped. But what if there was a way to not only accept these challenges, but to embrace them fully and love them for what they are? This is exactly what the Stoic concept of Amor Fati, the love of fate, teaches us. At its core, Amor Fati is the idea that we should not only accept the events that happen to us but love them. Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher and leader who experienced his fair share of hardship, famously practiced this concept. In his meditations, he reflects on how everything that happens in life, good or bad, is part of the larger cosmic order, and that each moment, each experience, is an essential part of the unfolding of his journey. Instead of fighting against what life hands us, Marcus teaches us to embrace fate as a necessary part of our path. In many ways, Amor Fati is about trusting the unfolding of life. It encourages us to trust that life is not happening to us, but for us. Each twist, turn, and challenge is there for a reason. By accepting that we don't always know what's best for us, we start to see that even the painful experiences contribute to our personal growth. The beauty of this philosophy is that it reframes how we view setbacks. Rather than seeing them as failures, we can choose to see them as opportunities for growth, self-discovery, and improvement. When we practice Amor Fati, we stop resisting life's challenges. We stop wishing that things were different, and instead accept that what happens is exactly what is meant to happen. This shift in perspective doesn't mean we become passive or complacent. Rather, it means we accept the present moment, regardless of how difficult it might be, and we trust that it is shaping us in ways we might not yet understand. By loving our fate, we build emotional resilience, knowing that everything, whether painful or joyous, contributes to our personal growth and mental strength. Consider a time in your life when you experienced a major challenge, something that felt unfair, difficult, or overwhelming. Now, imagine if you had approached that situation with Amor Fati. Instead of resisting the situation or wishing it were different, what if you had embraced it fully, trusting that it was part of your journey? By doing this, you would have avoided the emotional turbulence that comes from resisting what is, and instead cultivated a sense of peace and acceptance. This doesn't mean you must enjoy the pain or difficulty, but rather that you accept it as a part of the larger process of life. For example, Let's say you lose your job unexpectedly. At first, it might seem like a devastating blow, and you might feel angry or helpless. You could react with frustration, focusing on how unfair the situation is and spiraling into negative thoughts. However, by practicing Amor Fati, you choose to embrace this setback as an opportunity for growth. Maybe it pushes you to reevaluate your career, learn new skills, or pursue something you've always wanted to do. In this way, the very adversity you once resisted becomes a gift, an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Instead of seeing life as something that happens to you, you begin to see it as something that happens for you, contributing to your personal growth and mental resilience. The beauty of this Stoic principle is that it helps us let go of the emotional burden that comes with resistance. By accepting everything that comes our way, we build emotional clarity and peace. Each moment, no matter how difficult, becomes part of our personal development, helping us cultivate the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, and temperance. The practice of Amor Fati teaches us that there is no such thing as a bad event. Every moment is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become more resilient. Imagine the freedom that comes from letting go of resistance. What if, instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, we saw them as gateways to our higher self? When we practice Amor Fati, we stop fighting the flow of life and start swimming with it. Life isn't something that happens against us, it's something that shapes us into who we are meant to be. And by accepting this, we can live with greater peace and less emotional turmoil. To begin practicing Amor Fati, think about one aspect of your life that you've been resisting, something you've wished were different. This might be a personal struggle, a missed opportunity, or a difficult situation. Now, ask yourself, how can I embrace this situation? How can I love it as part of my journey? Over time, this practice will help you build greater mental resilience, emotional control, and a deeper connection with life's natural flow. It will allow you to approach every challenge not with fear or frustration, but with a sense of purpose and understanding, knowing that each moment is exactly as it should be. Stoic lesson number 4. Reframe your perception of failure. Cognitive reframing. Failure. It's something that we all face, and yet, it's something most of us fear. We live in a society where success is often equated with self-worth, and failure is seen as something to be avoided at all costs. This fear of failure can paralyze us, stop us from taking risks, and even lead to feelings of inadequacy when things don't go as planned. But what if failure, instead of being something to fear, was something to embrace, a stepping stone on the path to personal growth and mental resilience? This is the powerful Stoic practice of cognitive reframing, where we change the way we perceive failure and, in doing so, transform our relationship with adversity. At the heart of cognitive reframing is the Stoic technique of shifting our perspective on challenges and setbacks. Rather than viewing failure as an endpoint, we can choose to see it as a learning experience, something that helps us grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently reflected on how obstacles and failures were opportunities to practice his Stoic virtues. He did not see failure as something to be ashamed of, but as a chance to develop emotional control, mental strength, and resilience. In fact, Marcus often reminded himself that adversity was necessary to develop these qualities. Without challenges, we would not be pushed to cultivate patience, perseverance, or wisdom, the very traits that make us resilient. Imagine this: you've set a goal for yourself, and despite your hard work and effort, you fail. How do you respond? The typical reaction might be frustration, disappointment, or self-doubt. These emotions can overwhelm us, making us question our abilities or worth. But through the lens of cognitive reframing, you can view that failure differently. Instead of seeing it as a defeat, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What strengths can I develop by facing this challenge head-on? By reframing your perception of failure, you free yourself from the emotional weight of disappointment and instead see it as an essential part of the journey towards self-mastery. One of the most empowering aspects of cognitive reframing is that it allows us to take control of how we react to failure. Rather than letting failure define us, we define how we respond to it. Take, for example, a failed project at work. Instead of internalizing that failure as a reflection of your abilities or worth, you could reframe it as a valuable lesson. Perhaps it taught you something about your approach, or maybe it showed you where you need to improve. By shifting your focus from the failure itself to the lessons learned, you transform the experience from something negative into an opportunity for personal growth. When we reframe failure, we recognize that failure isn't permanent, it's a moment in time. Every successful person has failed many times before achieving greatness. In fact, many greatest successes are built on the foundation of multiple setbacks. The beauty of this Stoic practice is that it allows us to overcome hardship with a sense of purpose. Failure, when reframed correctly, becomes a necessary part of our development. It's not the failure itself that matters, but how we use it to become better, stronger, and more resilient. Every setback is an opportunity to practice patience, perseverance, and wisdom, the core Stoic virtues. To practice cognitive reframing in your own life, start by examining a recent failure or setback. Reflect on how you initially perceived it, and then ask yourself, how can I reframe this situation in a way that helps me grow? What can I learn from this experience that will make me more resilient moving forward? This practice requires shifting your focus away from the emotional pain and instead looking at the broader picture. How can this setback contribute to your personal development? By consistently applying this reframing technique, you'll develop a mindset that views failure not as something to fear, but as a tool for emotional regulation and mental clarity. For example, if you've been working towards a goal and things didn't go as planned, take a step back and ask yourself, what can I do better next time? What did I miss in my approach that could have changed the outcome? By taking ownership of your mistakes, you develop a growth mindset, where every experience, whether positive or negative, is valuable. This allows you to view failure as a lesson and an essential part of your path forward. So, the next time you experience failure, remember this: failure is not the end of the road, it's a chance to become more resilient, more knowledgeable, and more capable. Cognitive reframing empowers us to take charge of our emotions and responses, allowing us to face challenges with strength and wisdom. By shifting our perception, we can turn every failure into an opportunity for growth, and use it to build the mental resilience needed to tackle life's toughest moments. Stoic lesson number 5. Focus on the present moment, mindfulness and acceptance. In a world that constantly demands our attention, it's easy to find ourselves overwhelmed by the past or the future. We replay past mistakes, worry about future uncertainties, or fret over situations that haven't even happened yet. In doing so, we often lose sight of what's happening right here, right now. This constant mental juggling between what's behind us and what lies ahead can cause significant emotional strain. But Stoicism teaches us a simple yet profound lesson. The present moment is all we truly have. By focusing on the present, we gain greater emotional control, mental resilience, and clarity. The Stoics believed that by embracing the present moment, we align ourselves with life's natural flow, accepting it as it is, without resistance. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently reminded himself to focus on the present, noting that the present is the only time we have true control over. He encouraged himself to reject unnecessary distractions and, instead, focus on what is immediately in front of him. For Marcus, mindfulness wasn't just a practice, it was a way of living. By training ourselves to focus on the present moment, we reduce stress, anxiety, and the emotional weight that comes from obsessing over what has already passed or what may happen in the future. His wisdom offers a powerful invitation. Rather than allowing our thoughts to be scattered across time, we must learn to anchor ourselves in the present. The power of present moment awareness lies in its ability to ground us. When we focus on the here and now, we stop wasting emotional energy on worries that don't serve us. Instead of being consumed by thoughts of what if or could have been, we embrace what is. Consider this: you're facing a stressful situation, perhaps a difficult conversation or an important decision at work. Instead of letting your mind spiral into what-ifs, bring your attention to the present moment. What is within your control right now? How can you respond in a calm and thoughtful manner? By focusing on the present, you gain clarity, enabling you to respond to challenges with emotional regulation and mental clarity. This is where the true strength of mindfulness lies, not just in moments of peace, but in moments of chaos. Mindfulness is not about waiting for the perfect moment to feel calm. It's about bringing ourselves back to the present when the world feels overwhelming. Think of it as a muscle that you train over time. Start small by being mindful during simple daily activities, whether it's eating, walking, or even breathing. The more you practice mindfulness in these moments, the easier it becomes to bring yourself back to the present when life's challenges arise. This practice helps build emotional resilience because it prevents you from becoming overwhelmed by thoughts of the past or future. For example, imagine you're facing a personal crisis. It's natural to feel anxiety about what's going to happen, but the Stoic approach is to focus on what you can control right now. Can you take small steps today to improve the situation? Can you bring your attention to how you're reacting in this moment, rather than worrying about what might happen tomorrow or next week? By accepting the present and not getting lost in fears of the future, you can respond with a clear, level-headed mind, which is the essence of emotional stability. Acceptance is not resignation. It is the ability to recognize and act within the constraints of the present moment. The benefits of focusing on the present moment extend beyond just managing stress. It helps us embrace life as it comes, without judgment. The Stoic mindset teaches us that life, with all its ups and downs, is not something to fight against, but something to be experienced fully. By practicing mindfulness and acceptance, we not only reduce our emotional suffering, but also cultivate greater mental strength. We stop resisting life's flow and start living in harmony with it, accepting both the challenges and the joys that come our way. In fact, mindfulness helps us respond to life's challenges with a more open mind and heart. Instead of feeling anger or frustration when faced with an obstacle, we can approach it with curiosity. What is this challenge trying to teach me? How can I grow from it? The more we practice being present, the more we align ourselves with nature's rhythms, and the more we resiliently navigate life's inevitable ups and downs. The key to this transformation lies in choosing to stay present, not letting our minds wander to the past or future. To begin applying this Stoic lesson, start with simple mindfulness exercises. Set aside a few minutes each day to focus solely on your breathing, the sensations in your body, or the sights and sounds around you. As you practice, you'll notice how this present moment awareness enhances your emotional resilience, helping you stay grounded even in times of crisis. The Stoics believed that it is in the present moment that we truly find our power. By focusing on the present, we free ourselves from the emotional burden of uncertainty and find peace in the now. Over time, this practice will help you develop a deeper connection with life's natural flow, building a resilience that will carry you through any challenge. You've now learned 5 powerful Stoic lessons that can transform how you respond to life's challenges. Each one of these lessons offers a way to build mental resilience, emotional control, and a deeper connection with the present moment. But the real work begins when you take these teachings and apply them in your everyday life. Think about it. What will you do today to start embracing Amor Fati, reframing your challenges, or letting go of what you can't control? The journey to greater emotional resilience starts with a single step. If you're ready to continue your growth and apply these Stoic principles, here's your chance. Like this video if you found value in these lessons, share it with someone who could use a boost of Stoic wisdom, and subscribe to stay connected as we explore more ways to build mental strength and self-mastery. Don't forget to leave a comment, and let me know which Stoic lesson you're most excited to start practicing today. Remember, mental resilience is something you can develop over time. The more you embrace these Stoic strategies, the stronger and more centered you'll become. Start today, and let the Stoic wisdom guide you through whatever life brings next.